After fully completing Paper Mario the Origami King, I decided to go back through the game and look at some of the best moments. So we have two videos coming up very soon. This one's going to be focusing on the best moments, actually the 17 best moments from Paper Mario the Origami King, and then another video talking about the absolute worst moments and some of the things that I absolutely dreaded. But these are my 17 favorite things from the game, and I cannot wait to share them with you. Also, remember that these are going to be spoilers, so if you haven't completed the game yet, you might be spoiled with some of these later facts. They're in order from the beginning of the game to the end. No specific favorite order, just from beginning to end chronologically. Also, before we get started, feel free to like the video and subscribe. We're getting ever so closely to 100,000 subscribers, so make sure you're subbed. And also feel free to follow us on Twitter and at our Discord, where you too can talk with us about all things Nintendo. All links are in the description below, so feel free to check them out. But without further ado, let's get into my list of 17 amazing moments from Paper Mario the Origami King. Number 1, we have the Whispering Woods. This place was pretty cool because they would actually interact with Mario with whatever he did. If he smacked a tree, they would say something. If he fell or hurt himself, they would laugh. It was just a very interactive stage as a whole. And also, when you get to the later parts of the stage, you'll find pieces of wood that's cut up and even signs that talk to Mario, because every piece of wood within this forest has a personality and a voice, which is very interesting. I really enjoyed how they handled the Earth Elemental Temple, where you actually started off with this little museum walkthrough where it talked about the Earth Elemental and some things about his history, and also kind of gives you some hints about how to beat it. This reminded me a lot of Hooktail's Castle, where people would tell you to find something that has to do with crickets because he hates crickets and you found the cricket badge. Well, this time it kind of gives you a hint that his tail is an extremely soft, weak spot, and as soon as you hit it, he immediately goes into a shell, and it's a very easy way to defeat him within the battle later on. It's just a cool little walkthrough and entrance and before you get to the main temple into the cave of the Earth Elemental. The whole sequence with Overlook Tower was really cool. How these colored pencils kept trying to stab Mario through the elevator. When you got to the top, it was just come raining down colored pencils. It was just a really cool moment, and you couldn't get up the ladder until it slowly lowered, and as you're running around the tower, these pencils just raining out of the sky trying to hit you. It's a really cool moment, and I just like the intensity, and even the music makes it feel mysterious and weird as to what you're about to fight, even though we know it's colored pencils. Shogun Studios in its entirety was an amazing part of the game. It's kind of like a little theme park for ninjas and for Japanese-inspired tradition. And it's really cool because you actually have to buy a pass to get in. You can buy a commoner pass or a royalty pass. And if you get the royalty pass, everything within the park is free. And also, when you open chests, instead of just getting one coin from the commoner pass, you'll get a special trophy when you open things. So it's kind of like an actual perk pass when you get inside this place. It's really cool. Everything's kind of on the house, and all the mini games are free. You can replay all the mini games for free. And everything was just really cool. It was cool putting on the giant paper mache head of the Goomba and sneaking into the last tower. And also doing all the skits on stage like the Wild West Shootout and also the Shy Guy Ballet. So there was a lot of really cool things going on within this level the entire time. I absolutely fell in love with it. Number 5, when you get to the cruise ship, the Princess Peach, I absolutely love the reference with all the other different Princess Peaches from the different Paper Mario games on the main hall's wall. I thought this was awesome. It kind of referenced every single Paper Mario game up to date with the Princess Peach design, and I loved it. It was just a cool way to have a callback to those games, and I just like it when developers do stuff like that, even when they're so adamant to move forward with Paper Mario and not really take reference from the past games. I love that they're able to at least reference it in a fun way. Number 6, Bobby's death. Now, I know this one's going to be like, how is this your favorite moment? Listen, it is an incredibly sad moment in the game. And obviously, I know a lot of people are going to hold tight to this moment in this character, but I think it was just such a beautiful way for Nintendo to add such a weird part of the story. You know, to have this character that joins Mario, doesn't remember exactly who he is or what he's doing. Then he gets his memories back, and he finds out that he needs to save Olivia, you know, and he does whatever he can to do that. As somebody he just met, and he goes all the way to the ship to get his friend's fuse, and he lights himself, and he blows up, and it's just one of the most deepest parts of a Nintendo game, especially for a Paper Mario game, and Nintendo does it so perfectly. It was a beautiful moment, but very sad. And then to see what Olivia's going through now, knowing what happened, was just so hard to see. But Mario making her laugh with the giant paper mache Goomba hat again was awesome. And then eventually seeing Bobby's spirit come up and tell Mario that he's fine, and tell Olivia that everything's gonna be okay. That was so sweet. A pretty funny moment in the game is going to the Sniffit tent and Sniff City, and you have to play this like little mini game. You have to guess the emotion and the face that the Sniffit is making. Well, you know that's pretty much impossible because they're wearing a mask, just like Shy Guy, and you don't know what they're doing. So you just pretty much have to guess, and you're always going to be wrong. It's just a funny little thing that they threw in this game, and I thought it was hilarious because, especially of Mario, Professor Toad, and Olivia's faces, they just look so angry and just upset with this guy. It is hilarious for some reason. I just like it. I don't know, maybe it's just me. He's just this con artist that's trying to scam people in the streets, and if you try to leave, he'll also suck you up into the giant genie bottle at the top, which will also put you in there with Luigi, and then you'll have like a nice Mario and Luigi reference with the M&L on the genie lamp, which I thought was also pretty cool. So the whole Professor Toad and the Temple of Shrooms was very interesting to me because we've kind of had this in the past games. We had a little bit of this in Sticker Star and a little bit of this in Color Splash as well, with these weird toad creatures that were super tall and skinny on the walls, and we could never really figure out what this meant, but apparently there was some Temple of the Shrooms with King Shroomsies, which is a reference to King Ramses, and there's some really cool things about the toads that we may have never known before, and there might be some deep lore that we gotta look at, but that's another time, another video for another day. But it was very interesting to hear some toad background and some toad knowledge about how these toads used to live and exactly how they used to function, and Professor Toad was pretty much studying all this, which was very interesting to me. I absolutely love traveling the Great Sea just like it was Wind Waker all over again, with your King of Red Lion's boat and just going from island to island, finding and exploring cool, unique things. This was so much fun. You even get a sea chart where you can find things that you didn't see before, islands that you did find but haven't explored yet, and it just really felt like Wind Waker. You could even send down a submarine to get treasure from the ocean floor, just like your Hook in Wind Waker. So I'm just like, they just continue to go and go and go and really push off of Wind Waker vibes, and I love it. Now, one thing I did not expect to find in this game was the making and kind of like the origins of Olivia and King Ali. And yes, you can find their creator, which unfortunately is just a toad, but it is very interesting to see that they came from this actual workshop on this island in the middle of the Great Sea. It was an amazing come around, and just to see the story kind of unfold and kind of what happened and what was the reasonings behind everything was very interesting. And this was a cool part to add because most games don't do this until the very end of the game, but they go ahead and give us this information pretty early, about halfway through the game, which is a very interesting aspect of the game, that's for sure. Now, finding Diamond Island on the Great Sea was amazing. You had islands shaped as playing cards, and you had to pretty much find where Diamond Island was. You had heart, spade, and even club, but you had to find where the heck was Diamond, and you had to do this cool little mapping thing where it was in between 4 islands and underneath the water, and you found this giant underwater diamond dome, which you could go into with your submarine and find this crazy underwater world that's in its own like encaved island. It's so cool. You can see all this grass inside. It reminds me of like Journey to the Center of the Earth, where you finally reach the center and there's just more area to explore. It just looks beautiful. Now, the things that you actually do in here, not the greatest, and you'll see why later on, but I just thought it looked really cool. It was a cool way to get to this area and find the Ice Elemental. It was an awesome area. If you couldn't tell yet, I really like the Great Sea. There's a lot of things here. And another thing is there's an island called Scuffle Island. It's kind of shaped like a boxing arena, and you're supposed to go in there and kind of fight these giant paper mache creatures, and there's like 10 or 11 of them for a special trophy and a special award with tons of coins. And it's really fun to fight these guys because, like I said, I thought the overworld battles were something very unique within this game, and it's fun to just fight all these overworld battles all in one place. If you haven't done this yet or even haven't found this island, because you can skip over it entirely, I suggest looking for it. It's a lot of fun. Number 13, the Bowser Hall Battle. So what happens is Kamek rallies up all the Bowser troops to go in and fight all of the Origami troops, and they're all in the middle of Bowser's foyer, kind of his hall area, just fighting each other. Everybody's just kind of running into each other, fighting in this grand epic scene, and Mario can go around and help and defeat some of the Origami creatures that help some of Bowser's minions, and it's just a really cool scene to see all of Bowser's guys fighting the anti-Bowser guys. It's just weird, but I love it. There's just so much craziness going on, confetti being thrown, plates and food just being tossed everywhere. It's a really cool scene. Number 14, you have the creepy cutout soldiers within the Bowser's castle. So these were actually very creepy, and I loved this part. So the scissors balls pretty much cuts out these shadowy, creepy creatures made out of giant, creepy men and also little tiny children that's very creepy. I can't even explain how creepy this is within the game, and they kind of chase you very slowly and kind of trying to get after you, and they have very unique ways to fight them as well. And I just really love this part. I thought this was really cool, and it added kind of a scare factor where people were being taken away by this creepy shadow hand, and it kind of reminded me of the Wall Masters from the Legend of Zelda series as they would grab Link and take him away. And it was just a very creepy area. I just thought all of this had a really creepy sense to it, and it just felt right for this area, and I thought it was a really cool addition to add here before the final boss. Now, even though personally I like the tape boss the most out of this game, the scissors boss cannot go unnoticed here, and it is actually probably the most intense one out of them all, because if you make one little mistake, the whole boss battle can end just like that. So what you have to do is make sure that you don't break his casing, because if you do, he turns into a violent pair of scissors. Well, a normal pair of scissors, pretty much. And all of his attacks are devastating, meaning that if they slice you at all or touch you at all, you will instantly be killed, which is a very stressful boss battle, so making sure that you attack only the handle first is very key and very important. So, man, I love the fact that everything also changes the way the battle works, because instead of just blocking, Mario can now jump. This jump can be used like in Mario Luigi to dodge the scissor attacks, and he can kind of throw you off by tricking you real quick, and it's very, very stressful, but I love this boss battle. The chase scene up Hopfoot Crater was one of the most unique parts of the game. You had all these papier-mâché Goombas chasing after Mario and his friends, and Kamek and also Bowser Jr. jumping back to take on the Goombas to give Mario some time to run away to reach Bowser was an awesome scene. It was like some friendly sacrifice to help Mario, and I just loved it. And even Bowser didn't care. Bowser said he's old enough to handle himself now. Sometimes, you know, my parenting skills can be tested, but hey, you know, he's got to do what he's got to do. And I just love that scene, and I thought it was really surreal. And they were actually running pretty fast to chase Mario. You actually had to keep moving because you could get caught pretty easily if you're not paying attention. It was a very intense scene, and I just love that intensity within Paper Mario games, and they definitely had it here. Number 17 for me was King Ollie's Quick Time events. I absolutely love these in Paper Mario. Now, I know it's just pressing A, and it's really not that hard, but I just really enjoyed dodging his attacks, and I liked watching little cutscenes of Mario flipping around, jumping around, and dodging attacks. It was better than the actual battle itself, I thought. Just seeing Mario fly around the stage and do some acrobatic stuff as his paper form is something new for the series, and I absolutely love this, and I think they can continue doing stuff like this. It's almost like a God of War Kratos type of scene where he's dodging and doing quick time stuff in order to defeat the boss, and I love it how Mario's using his hammer to break his arms even. It was just a really cool scene. But those were my 17 favorite moments from Paper Mario The Origami King. Please let me know in the comments down below what your favorite moments were, because the next video is going to be my least favorite moments and the stuff that absolutely drove me up a wall. And I'm sure there's a lot of them, just like there are a lot of good. But I wanted to start with the good first to get the good out of the way, but then we gotta get some ugly in there. I know I probably should have started with ugly and then finished with the good. You know what? We don't care. You know, we're gonna have some ugly next. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, and also remember to subscribe to help us on the road to 100K. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and like always, I'll see you in the next one. See you guys.